Welcome to 5% Radio, where it's all about learning like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. Please be sure to share and subscribe. What's up, 5%ers, and welcome back to another episode of the 5% Radio podcast. Today is episode number 78, and we are going to be diving into the concept of urgency. Now, not the frantic kind, but the intentional, powerful kind that wakes you up and forces you to start actually living the life that you're truly capable of, rather than just being a spectator and just kind of watching it go by. So we're going to be breaking down time, not as an abstract idea, but as something real, countable, something that you can measure, something that's slipping away every single day. And this episode is designed to make you move, to make you act, to make you more intentional with every single second that you have in your life from here forward. So hopefully, honestly, all corniness aside, hopefully this can be an episode that literally changes your life. Also, I do have a huge announcement to make today, and that is that I will be doing my first couple of interviews coming up here in the next few months of the show. Not exactly sure which episodes there are, but I have a couple of people that I've talked to that are completely financially free, have been so for decades, that are making, I'm not going to state their income, but they're making, top 5% or top 1% income, either in their country or just the entire world. And they're going to be just kind of sharing some of their tips and going over what some of the biggest lessons they've learned along the way, the thinking shifts, and just exactly what it takes to get to a place where you are financially free. Like, what do you have to change? Going from a 9-to-5 job to getting to complete total financial freedom, where you're no longer trading hours for dollars and you can wake up, make money, whether you're waking, sleeping, working, vacationing, whatever else. So excited about that. But anyway, at the end of the show today, I will give you my number one tip on exactly how you can start managing your minutes better and take advantage of every single piece of content in this episode, every single piece of info that we're going to cover, to make sure that you can actually develop this positive urgency awareness mindset in your life and that you can implement that going forward. And I'll also share the story of exactly how I learned this concept and this number one key takeaway that I'll be going over. I'll tell you exactly the lesson that I learned and the journey that I was in, and the season that I went through to learn this and really to apply this to my life. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and dive into some quotes to get the episode started. Stephen Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, said, "Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us." Marcus Aurelius, a guy that lived thousands of years ago, said, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Steve Jobs said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." Bruce Lee said, "If you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made of." Michaela Smeltzer said, "Life can be cut short in an instant, so make sure you live with no regrets and love with all your heart." Henry Frederick Emile said, "Life is short and every moment is precious." Bill Kane said, "Yesterday's the past, tomorrow's the future, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present." Maria Edgeworth said, "If we take care of the moments, the years take care of themselves." One of our friends said this quote, I don't know exactly who it's originally attributed to, but the days are long, but the years are short. The days are long, but the years are short. And lastly, a verse from the Bible, James 4:4 says, "You do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little and then vanishes away." Another word for vapor, if you look at that translation, would be a hand breath, meaning you actually trying to catch the wind. Our lives are short. And I'm going to give you some stuff that you can chew on, that you can mentally take with you after this episode. And I think you'll really find a lot of value out of this. So let's dive into this. And just to kind of give you a little Scooby snack of the next episode will actually tell you how to 4 or 5x your output, how to really be more productive. And this isn't going to be a productivity hack like you would normally hear, something that's like, oh yeah, I've heard that a million times. I'll be actually summarizing a book that I'm going through right now, and that is The 12-Week Year. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. Phenomenal book. If you've not read it, I would put it on your list. The audiobook is incredible as well. There's a lot of books that are great to read, then you go to the audiobook, and the audiobook, to be frank, sucks because it's read by, a computer, and it's not like it's good AI like some of the ones out there. It's read by something, and you're like, you're wanting to fall asleep going through the thing. So if you like audiobooks, I highly recommend checking out that book if you are looking to be more productive. So let's dive in. If we want to look at your life, let's talk about days that you have left to live. So this is not meant to be morbid or make you think, well, I only have so long left. I want to be negative. I thought this was supposed to be a positive show, Jesse. Gee, thanks. But if you look at the average life expectancy blended between men and women, it's about 78 years. Now, if you take that 78-year life expectancy and you cut that down into, okay, how many days, weeks, months, all that kind of stuff, years, how much do I actually have left to live? Well, if you're 20 years old, you have 21,170 days, give or take, left to live. That's 3,024 weeks or 705 months. Now, if that sounds like a lot to you, it's not, and time goes by so fast. If you're 25, you have 19,345, again, give or take, days left to live. You have 2,764 weeks, and you have 645 months. Age 30, 17,500 and some days left to live, 2,500 and change weeks, and 584 months. Age 35, 15,695 days left to live, 2,242 weeks, 523 months. Again, sounds like a lot. It's not. Think about some memories. Think about different timelines in your past of, okay, when did that happen? How long ago was it? And you'll kind of begin to go through some memories and you're like, oh, as you get older, and I'm turning 31 this June, so I'm not old by any means, but if you can think like an older person now, it will benefit you in your life because a long-term vision will never hurt you. Short-term vision will almost always hurt you. Making short-term decisions and keying off of what's happening in the moment, having really short feedback loops. How do I feel right now? What do I want right now? Versus what do I want most? What do I want in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Who do I want to be? What do I want to be remembered for? If this was my funeral, what would I want people to say about me? What would I want to have accomplished by then? Whether my funeral's in a day or 50 years, like if you'll think long-term, it will help you. Age 45, you have 12,000 days left to live, 12,045. 1,720 weeks, 401 months left to live. So I want you to think in terms of days, weeks, months, and then if you want to get down to minutes, well, we could do that too, but I'm not going to go there. But if you look at this in, let's say, seasons, so seasons of life. So this one really hits home for a lot of people because let's look at how many summers you have left. Well, these are short, precious seasons. Depending on where you live, like your summer might be a couple weeks. It's supposed to be months on the calendar, but you might have really awful weather. But if you look at that, seasons are where memories are made. Different seasons of your life. You can look at, well, that was the spring of this year, the winter of this year, or that was this month. But time slows down when you're looking at seasons and life just feels a little more alive. So when it's summer, let's just say that you live again till age 78. If you're 20, you have 58 summers left. If you're 30, you have 48 summers left. If you're 40, you have 38 summers left. If you're 50, you have 28 summers left. Think through this. When was the last time that seasons ticked by and you didn't even think about it? Like they absolutely flew by. When was the last time that happened? Because I want you to begin to think in terms of seasons. How many hours do I have left? How many weeks? How many months? How many years? How many summers? Is this the last summer that I have? How many more springs will I get to experience? How many more winters? How many more Christmas Eves? How many more Christmas days? How many more Thanksgiving holidays? Let's look at the hours that you'll spend working. And I actually just published something on 5% Media about this on our different platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, kind of giving a breakdown of this. But if you look at this, let's say that you work 47 hours a week. That includes breaks, commute, all this stuff, just as an average. It's about 2,444 hours a year. If you retire at 65, which most people don't, they work about 18 to 68. Used to be retire at 65. Things have changed. If you're 20 years old, you have 45 years left to work. It's over 109,000 hours, almost 110,000 hours. If you're 25, you have 40 years left, or 97,760 hours. If you're 35, you have 30 years left to live, or 73,000 hours. 45, you've got 20 years left to work if you're retiring at 65, which most people don't. And by the way, look this up, if you are 30 years old or younger, statistically speaking, you will not retire. The rate of inflation, everything else, stop wasting your time doing things that you don't love doing. If you're doing something that you're not passionate about, find something else because you only have so much time. 45, again, 20 years, 48,880 hours left to work. If you're 50, you have 15 years left to work. If you're retiring at 65, that's 36,660 hours. Think about what you could be doing with those moments if you don't like what you're doing now. Time left with loved ones. Let's look at this other example. Let's say you have a parent, a sibling, a best friend, a family member, whoever, you name it, that you only see once in a while. If they live to be 78 and you live to be 78, let's say they're the same age as you, here's how many more times you're likely to see them. So let's say that you're age 20, time left to see your parents. If you see them once a year, you don't have 58 years left with them. You have 58 times left seeing them, 58 more hugs, 58 more I love yous, 58 more dinners with them, 58 more times opening the door and seeing them coming into your house, or them opening the door and inviting you in, 58 more times of that. Now it's valuable. Now it's more important. If you see them twice a year, you have 116 times left. If you see them once a month, you have 696 times left. Now that seems like a lot. If you're 20 years old, oh man, they're going to live forever. What if they live past 80? What if they live to be 90? What if they live to be almost 100? Well, you can do whatever math you'd like, but let's just play the averages. Man, just thinking about that. And I see my parents multiple times a week. I'm 30 years old. They have 20 years left, and I see them once a week. Like it's really not that many times. Would you treat it as casually as you did last time? If you knew that you only had 17 more times left to see him. Let's say you live out of state and you see him every 6 months and you've got 17 years. It's 34 times. 34 more times that you'll get to see him, that you'll get to appreciate time with him. If you're age 25 and you see him once a year, 53 times. Twice a year, 106 times. 5 times a year, 265. Once a month, 624. Every 2 weeks, 1,382. See him twice a week, 2,700 times. Sounds like a big number. If you're 35 and you see him once a year, it's 43 times left, guys. Once a month, 516. Once a week, 2,242 times. Sounds like a lot. It's not. Let that sink in. You might only see your parents or your close friends, your loved ones. You might only see them a few dozen more times. It's not morbid. It's clarity. We're finite beings. We have limited time. We have limited resources. And when you do see people, how much time is spent catching up from last time you saw them? Like, how well do you actually know your friends? How well do you know your spouse? How well do you know your kids? How well do you know your parents? Do you know them as well as you'd like to? I think about how often I see my parents, and I think about the fact that I really don't know my mom and dad, like, as just on an adult level. Like, I know them super well, but as far as, like, how well I know my best friends, I don't know. I know that I could know them better. I know that I have more to learn from them. I know that I have more lessons to take. I know that there's more moments that I want to spend with my kids because pretty soon they're going to grow up and they're going to be gone. I spent probably a couple hours just yesterday playing in a sandbox on our deck with my 3-year-old. And, do I have stuff to do? For sure. Did I have work that needed done? Yep. Is it going to cost me a couple, earlier mornings and later nights? Yeah, for sure. But man, those moments are so important, so precious. And I get to just have that focus time just with him. Just driving back tonight, went to a meeting, heard a friend of mine speak, driving home with my wife, just thinking about man, I just appreciate that time. I appreciate that time that I get to have because I don't have a guarantee on that. They did a study of regrets of dying people, and I've talked about this before in this podcast, but the woman's name was Bronnie War, and she was a nurse, and this person documented the top regrets of her patients in their final days, and the top 5 were this: I wish I had had the courage. Number 1, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life that others expected of me. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Number 5, I wish I had let myself be happier. Let me just ask you as the listener, are you making the most of your time? Are you really? How many days have you just let drift by that you're not managing well, that you're not being intentional with, that you're just taking for granted? Well, it's just another Monday. It's just a Wednesday. It's just a Tuesday. It's just a Thursday. I just really, I got to get to the weekend. Are you living your life, or is your life living you? See, it's been said that most people spend their lives trying to figure out what to do, and life is just kind of something that happens while they're trying to figure it out. Are you in control of your life? I had a friend just the other day that I was talking to, and he was discussing wanting to own a business and how he's just worked jobs that he doesn't really super love, and he wants to chase his dreams and this and that. And I told him, I said, you're going to go from being a spectator of your life. Most people are spectators. And, I don't say that to make you offensive, but most people spectate their life. They watch it go by. They watch it happen. It's passive. It's like being a passenger in a car, just kind of hanging out, watching it go by. Miles are clipping off. days, weeks, months, years are clipping off your life. And see, in our lives, we've got this. I always have this picture, and I want to actually get this made and put it on one of my shelves in my office. But there's an hourglass of your life, and all we can see is what's passed through the bottom. All I know is how old I am. All I know is how many days I have left to my next birthday. All I know is that I'm going to go to bed tonight and hopefully wake up tomorrow. I know how old my wife is. I know how old my kids are. I know how old my parents are, my friends. I don't know how much time I have left, though. See, I've got this representation in their age of how long they've been here, but I have no idea how long they're going to be here, how many days I have left. So there's an hourglass, and we can see the bottom, but the top is painted black. It's covered up. You can't see how much is left. I don't know how many days I have left to spend with my dad. I don't know how many days I have left to spend with my mom. I don't know how many more times we're going to sit down at the table for Thanksgiving or for Christmas and just be able to laugh and just be able to have fun. I don't know how many more weekends I'm going to have with my kids where we can wake up on a Saturday morning and do absolutely nothing. Or where I can go to Home Depot with my dad and my 3-year-old and we can build a project because they have this, this free kids thing, and they get a little kit, and it's mainly my dad and I putting it together with Eli. But I don't know how many more times we had to do that. I don't know how many more times I have to just say, hey, let's take a vacation. I don't know how many more days I have left. I don't know how many more mornings I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be able to see my little ones. I don't know. I don't know what faces me tomorrow. And people live their lives as if, to be quite frank, it's an arrogance that we just think we have forever, that we think we're untouchable, that we think nothing's going to happen, that we think, well, I've got time. And the reality is you don't. You don't have time. You don't have time to waste. Would you honestly walk up to a person, if you've seen the movie Time, which I highly recommend you watch? I cannot remember who the main actor is. Oh yeah, it's I want to say it's Justin Timberlake, and I'm not saying that I'm like a JT fan. His pictures on my wall, I got his autograph, any of that weird stuff. But the movie was really good though. It's just called Time. But you wouldn't walk up to someone to go buy dinner, and they're like, "Hey, how much is this?" Well, it's going to cost you a month. Like, okay, but we'll waste our time doing things that don't matter to us, or we'll waste our money that we spent with our hard-earned time. Hard-earned money. It's really hard-earned time because you spent time to make whatever money you have. If you're not financially free, you probably spent a lot of time to buy your car, to buy your house, to all these other things. But how intentional are you with your time? How intentional would you like to be? Who's the person that you want to be? Because you don't really have that many years left to become that person. You don't have 20 years. You don't have 30 years. You don't have 40 years. You've got moments, and those moments are passing by. I've got friends that already passed away before they were even out of high school. My wife and I were just talking the other day. A girl that she went to school with died at 22 years old. Horrible situation. The amount of people that I've talked to that their dad died or their mom died at 30-something or 40-something or 50-something, and they're like, oh, they were too young. And while, yes, that may be the case, how would you act if you knew, man, I've only got this many days left? You have no clue what diagnosis could be around the corner. You have no clue what things await you in life. And yet we'll waste our time watching TV, scrolling social media, not chasing our dreams, not doing what we want to do, working at a job where you're looking forward to break, you're looking forward to lunch, you're looking forward to clocking out, you're looking forward to, man, hopefully we can just get to Wednesday. If I can just get to Wednesday, then I can get to Friday. If I can get to Friday, then, man, I get to Saturday, and whoo, I get Saturday, I get Sunday, I get to live my life, man. I can't wait for 5 o'clock. Like, stop looking forward to your life hours down the road, days, weeks, months. Have something to look forward to. Be positive, be optimistic, have vision for the future, but live right now. Like the quote earlier, it's the present, it's a gift. How many of your once-a-year visits will you even remember? You don't need more time. You don't need more time. We've all got a lot of time. You need more intentionality, and more importantly, you need more urgency. Start the business. Make the move. Pick up the phone, make the call, launch the project. Say yes to the things. Say no to the things that you're supposed to. Say what you feel. Go after the life that you're capable of living. Chase your potential. Decide to grow because the clock is ticking. So it makes time special. It only happens once. Here's the concept that I want to share with you. And we've got so many different things coming for the show. And my wife and I are in a crazy season right now of running down our financial freedom and just pursuing that wholeheartedly, probably more focused than I think I've ever been before on getting free as soon as possible. Being done while I'm still 31. I'm 30 now. I'll be 31 in June. Being, through before 32, whatever you want to say. But I cannot wait to be done trading hours for dollars in any kind of regard. But the concept that I want to give you guys today, and this is my call to action, is that you would implement this concept, is time journaling. Now, here's how I learned it. I was going through a season where I just felt like I was busy all the time. I was a chicken running around with my head cut off. I never had enough time to do this, never had enough time to do that. And I had a mentor who was speaking in my life telling me things like, you should be reading, you should be listening to personal development, you should be going to this event and that event to learn to grow yourself, to learn how to develop these skills that you don't currently have because you have this dream and you have these goals and you want to get these things done. And every time we talked, it was like, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And if you don't have someone in your life who loves you enough to be honest enough with you, then, I feel bad for you because everyone needs this person. And this guy's name is Lance, good friend of mine. And what he challenged me to do is to time journal, meaning you can do whatever intervals you want. He recommended, I think, every 15 to 30 minutes, write down what I was doing. And I've heard other people talk about this, but if you'll take this and implement this, this is huge. Write down every 15 minutes of the day what you did. And it begins to make you take pause and think about things. Because if I sit down to watch TV, I've got to write that down. If I go to the restroom and then I pull up my phone and all I had to do was go in there and use your imagination, let's say, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, just finished up. Like, just wasting time on my phone. It's a waste of my time. I can't tell you how many nights, even recently, that I've been catching myself just, I'm done reading and I'm like, I'm still pretty energetic, but I'm mentally just kind of like tired, don't want to read anymore, but like I'm still, I'm too well caffeinated or whatever else, I can't fall asleep. And I'll just hop on my phone and just scroll some YouTube, whatever else, watch a nutritional video, weightlifting video, or just, dumb stuff people following, whatever. And 30 minutes goes by, 25 minutes goes by or more. I'm like, man, I just completely wasted that time. Now I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to be more tired because I didn't get as much sleep. And I can say, oh, I enjoyed it and whatever. And I made a post one time, but the average American TV is on it's something crazy. It's like over 50 hours a week that the TV is on in a home, that someone's consuming content. And I had a guy hop on Facebook, still remember his name. His name is Andy. He got so defensive in the comments. I like watching TV. And I did the math on how many thousands of hours. And I'm just thinking man, at your deathbed, wouldn't you want that time back? You're not going to be on your deathbed man, I just wish I wish I'd watched the last season of The Office one more time. I wish I had seen how Yellowstone finished. I just don't know. No, you're going to be wishing you had more time with people. You're going to be wishing that you had done more, that you had taken more risk. You're going to be wishing that you had spent more time with your kids. So start writing down what you're doing with your time. If you feel like, man, I never have time, start writing down what you do every 15 minutes. And it's not going to take long before you realize, man, I have a lot more time. I better be intentional. I don't want to do that because I don't want to have to write it down. And as I started doing that, I realized, man, I'm wasting time doing things. I have so many spare minutes, so many spare hours a day that I'm literally just wasting, taking my time. It'd be like taking an hour to drive 5 minutes across town just because you wanted to go sightseeing. Hey, you can do that. It's your life. But do you want to make something happen or do you want to make excuses? Because you can't have both. You can give reasons or excuses. You can assign whatever words you want. Well, it's a legitimate reason. It's not an excuse. They both have the same outcomes. If you let something get in the way of you making it to where you want to go, it's a hindrance. It's a roadblock, and you have a choice to remove those things. Managing your minutes is a huge part of being successful. If this episode was eye-opening, impactful, if it made you think about, man, how am I really spending my time? How much time do I have left? What should I be doing differently? How can I be more impactful and more intentional and more urgent with the time that I do have? If it was impactful in any way, shape, or form, then share it with someone else close to you who you think would also find this type of content beneficial. Also, stick around for the next episode number 79, where I'll be talking about the 12-week year. I mentioned that earlier. And lastly, is another quick reminder, if you are not following us on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of those platforms, then go ahead and give us a follow. We're also publishing content on those platforms that pretty much will never make it onto the show just because of the medium of content that podcasting is. So anyway, with that being said, I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Be intentional with your time, be urgent, and be aware.